Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. Today I'm going to show you guys how I made this delicious keto coconut cake with coconut cream cheese frosting. I got this recipe from Divalicious Recipes and I'll go ahead and include the link down below. These are all the ingredients that I used to make this cake. This was my birthday cake and it was so delicious. By the time you're seeing this, it's been about a week and a half, almost 2 weeks since my birthday, or actually 2 weeks since my birthday. So happy birthday to me, number 33. So these are all the ingredients. To start off, the recipe calls to butter your dish or your baking dish and put some parchment paper on it. That was kind of odd for me, especially since I could have used just the butter, I think. I'm not sure. So I went ahead and did so anyway. And yeah, it turned out pretty good. And it was easy to remove from the actual pan, so that was good. I am putting in a stick of butter along with the Splenda. I eyeballed the Splenda to taste. I think I did 2 or 3 tablespoons, and then I just checked for flavor just so that it's not overly sweet. And I went ahead and mixed that all up. Then I went ahead and added the egg yolks into the mix and made sure everything was nice and blended with the mixer. After that, I am putting in the vanilla extract. The recipe calls for half a teaspoon of vanilla extract. I'm also adding the coconut milk. Now, the coconut milk that I got was the canned coconut milk. The recipe calls for cream coconut as well as coconut milk. Luckily, this coconut milk that I got in a can does have cream on top. So I used 2 teaspoons of the cream and 4 tablespoons of the actual coconut milk. And then I blended it all together, and then I proceeded to add the coconut flour, salt, and baking powder, making sure I stirred everything together. Very good. In a separate bowl, it asks for you to whisk the egg whites until stiff. I tried to get it done by hand, but I ended up putting it in the hand mixer and it made it all fluffy just as it needed to. If you're good with the whisk, girl, go ahead and flick it up and do your thing, but I was not able to get this to get nice and fluffy like this. And then as I'm putting this in slowly, I'm folding it in as to not to kind of make it too, like, if you go in with the blender or with the hand mixer, it's not going to do its thing. You need to make it sure you put it in and like it maintains its fluffiness. You don't want to disrupt its fluffiness. This is what's going to make it nice and moist. I think, I'm not a baker or nothing, but I think this is what's going to help it just make it nice and fluffy and moist. So once I've managed to get that all nice and smoothed out together, this is what the consistency looks like. I put it all into my baking dish and making sure I smooth it out and try to make it as evenly as possible. I want to take this time, if you have not subscribed to my channel, please go ahead and do so. I do a lot of keto vlogging. I do a lot of keto recipes. I show you guys a lot of keto recipes that I find on Pinterest, as well as fashion and of course makeup and beauty. So if you like what you see, please go ahead and subscribe. I would really appreciate it. I'm trying to get to 1,000 subscribers, and if you guys could help, that would mean the world to me. So after I put that in the oven, I put it in at 400 degrees Fahrenheit and I left it in for 20 minutes. While that is baking, I'm going to do the frosting. I'm adding cream cheese, butter, and some Splenda. Again, you can use stevia or some other type of sweetener, of artificial sweetener of your choice. I had Splenda, so that's what I used, and I eyeballed it just according to taste. I blended that all together. So once I blend that all together, I'm going to add the coconut milk to thin it out a little bit and making it a little bit more spreadable. This cake is so keto friendly. It has so much fat into it, so much. The macros for this cake are 43 grams of fat per serving, 12 grams of carbs minus 5 grams of fiber, making it down to 7 grams of carbs per slice, and this makes about 8 slices. So once the cake is nice and done, I let it cool down for a little bit so that when I put the frosting, it doesn't just melt. I cut it in half horizontally, and I begin to frost my yummy cake. As you can see, the frosting is nice and light and airy. I didn't sweeten it way too much. I don't really like overly sweet stuff. I like sweetness. I truly do. I used to be a huge sugar addicted person, but since I started doing keto, I don't see the need for that anymore. So I am putting a layer of the frosting right over the whole first half of the cake, and then I proceed to add the second half, making it a 2-layer yummy delicious coconut cake. I know, where's the coconut flakes? This goes at the very end at top, just for decorations. You can add as little or as much as possible. Just be careful with your macros. If you can't afford to have too much coconut flakes, look at your bag, look at your nutrition facts for the coconut flakes. If you can't afford to have so much, just don't add any and just add a tiny bit per serving, like a tablespoon or a teaspoon per serving, and you should be good to go. I honestly wanted to indulge a little bit more than usual just because it was my birthday and I wanted, the cake to be special. But once you have all of your cream cheese frosting on this cake, it's time to decorate it with the coconut flake. And you can go ahead and do so by lightly putting it onto the cake. See, this would have been just perfect, but no, I wanted to go extra, and I pressed it onto the sides of the cake as well, making sure I was careful not to mess up all my work with this cake. I was just pressing it onto the sides and going in with it. Honestly, this day I didn't even break my keto diet. I was still in ketosis the whole entire day. I did only have one slice of cake for my birthday, and that was way more than enough. It was the perfect cake for such a special day for me. And yeah, I had cake for the next 2 or 3 days until it went bad and I had to throw it away, to be honest. But it's alright. And that is it, guys. This is my yummy, delicious coconut cake with coconut cream cheese frosting. If you guys did like this video, please go ahead and give it a thumbs up. I love you guys and stay blessed.